Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lakeside. I've been asked by a few people to do a video on how I do my foliage around the layout. So I thought, well, I'm going to be doing this garden next at the rear of this semi here. So I thought, well, this will be an ideal opportunity to show you how I do the foliage and the gardens, etc. Thing to remember is that this is just my way of doing it. This is not just the only correct way of doing it, far from it. There's plenty of other different ways if you watch videos from other people on how they do it, but this is really just me on how I do it. So this is not a how-to. I don't do how-tos, it's just how I do things. Now I'm not very good at doing these sort of things, I have to admit, which is why I don't do very many of them. But I'll give it a go and see how it comes out. And hopefully you'll see how this particular garden progresses. And as I say, that I'm sure I will get comments saying, well, what you could do is do this and do that, and well, yeah, I'm sure I could. But this is just, as I say, I'll keep reiterating it, it's just my way, and hopefully you may gain a few little tips and tricks as I go along. Okay, so bye for now, and I'll speak to you in a minute. Bye. Hello again. Right, hopefully you can hear this all okay with the camera set up at the back, straddling across the track, and it's now pointing into this first particular garden I'm going to do, and as you can see, I've already got the fencing around the house in position and a shed in position, and I've marked out roughly where I want the borders for this particular garden, with a central part here for the grass, and then once that's done I can then start putting in shrubbery and a pathway, etc. Okay, so first of all I'll take the shed off because I don't need that there at the moment, which leaves me a pencil outline of where to put the earth and the grass. So the first thing I want to do is I should probably start off around here and put the earth in position first. So I will get my bits and pieces together and I'll come back. Okay? Okay, so I'm back again, and the first thing I want to do is to put some glue down for the earth positioning around here. So I've just got my gluing brush, and I use Elmer's glue, which is an American glue, but I find it probably one of the best. It's not like it's like a PVA, but it isn't a PVA, if you know what I mean. It's very, very similar. So really it's just a case of getting that, squashing it into position. You don't have to be too accurate on this because I should be using the glue as well for doing the grass, but I don't want to put the grass down just yet. So that really is about all I need to do for the soil. So I can put the glue away for the moment. And then for the soil I use this, which is called, well, it's Woodland Scenics, and it's fine turf but earth, and I find that works out just about the right shade and texture for earth or soil around the garden. So I just shake some in the lid, just like that, and then it's a case of very gradually working your way round and tapping, I tap my hand and it just lets out a fine tilth of soil. And then with an ordinary brush, you can just brush it gently into all the crevices. Like that. And then what I do is get a roller, and I've got a small roller which I've cut down to quite a small size so that I can get into small areas, and then it's just a case of rollering it down. So that gives me reasonably good coverage of soil. So the next thing is to I'll get my hoover and we'll hoover up the excess. That then gives you a reasonably good outline of where the soil is going to go. Don't worry if you miss anything, you can either touch it up later on or cover it up with some foliage, but it's just a basic grounding for the soil. So the next thing I want to do is to again put glue down, but this time for the grass, and also I'm going to have a few stepping stones coming up here to about midway, to about here. And for that, for the stepping stones, I will be using this, which is the Metcalfe paving slabs, stone paving slabs, code PO210, and it gives you a sheet of various size paving slabs, and I will be using the small square ones here which you see. So it's just really a case of getting some glue. Get some more glue, bear with me. Now these are self-adhesive, but I find that the glue on them isn't great. There we go. So that's the glue down for the pavement and the grass. Okay, so next bit is the grass, and for this particular lawn I'm going to be using Woodland Scenics blended turf and its green blend, which is that one there. And for this I will again shake the contents into the lid. I just find that I've got more control over it doing it this way than trying to use the shaker method straight from the bottle by opening the lid. It does have, if I show you, it has, in case you don't know, it has two sections on the lid where you can either, that's completely open, that section, like that, or you have the other side which has got holes in it to allow you to shake it out. So there's two different ways you can do it from the lid, but I prefer to put it into the lid and I shake it from that. Now this can be a little bit tricky because it can come out in a few lumps and bumps, but don't worry about that either, because you can cure that later on. So just go around, gently tapping as you go. Try not to get too much onto the soil if you can. And then with the roller again, then hoover again. So that's the basic lawn and the soil now down, and I think you can see that there's kind of a shape appearing now. So what I need to do is let that dry off for about a couple of hours, and then I can come back and then I can start creating the foliage around the outside, and then you will see that by the time I created the foliage will start going over some of the bits of the lawn, so it doesn't really matter if there is a slight hiccup on the grass. Also, what I will do is lay some paving slabs down in here for the base of the shed. Now it doesn't matter that they will be glued on the soil, because it's not going to go anywhere, so it will be fine. Right, so I shall switch off now and come back in a couple of hours time. Okay, so bye for now. Hello again. Right, so now we are ready to start putting down some bushes. Now I have said before that what I tend to do is to build up layer by layer on the foliage around here, and I tend to start off with using a mix of bushes from Woodland Scenics. And what I tend to do is use this, which is Forest Blend bushes, and I also then add light green bushes. Now that's just my choice. That's not, I'm not saying that's what you should do or that's the correct way of doing it. No, it's just my particular way of doing it. And what I do, I've got a plastic box here which is from the packaging of an old airbrush, and I'll just open this up over here, and as you can see in there I've got a mix of both of those, the light green and the forest blend, and I put 50% in this side, 50% in that side, mix them up, close the lid, and then give it a good shake. And what that does, that mixes the whole combination up into a reasonably even 50-50 mix of both. So what I can do, I can just grab handfuls, or not handfuls, but grab some and place it in position, and it gives me a very good variation of colour as it goes through. So that's the method I use. So let's open that up. And then what I tend to do is get my bottle of glue, which is the same as the previous one, which is Elmer's, but I water it down to about 70-30%. So there's about 70% glue, 30% water in that. It just makes it a little bit more runnier. Otherwise the full 100% is too thick to put on. So what I do is open it up. Let's give it a good shake first. And then we get just a fingerful of bushes and start building it up as it goes on. You don't have to be too fussy with this. You can see that's already starting to appear like shrubbery. Now you can break that up obviously with other things should you wish, but I want this garden to be quite established as regards shrubbery. Just press that into position, and we get some more glue, and we keep working our way around. So I think I'm reasonably happy with what I've got there as regards the bushes or the undergrowth. So what we'll do one more bit there. We'll get some hairspray. You can use any old hairspray you want. I'm using this one, which is CN, very cheap from Lidl's. And all you do, I don't want to get any on the cycle track, you very, very gently, to begin with, spray and let it thoroughly dry. We might as well do the grass now. Now the good sign is that as you're spraying, there's nothing coming up, nothing blown away from the jet of the hairspray, which nothing did, so we're looking good so far. So I will let that dry off, and then I'll come back, and then we can start infilling with different types of shrubs. Right, now we're going to go for the foliage, which goes a little bit higher than these bushes, so there's not going to be too much. It's just going to be some dotted around this area, just for the to show a little bit of height to the shrubs. What I tend to use for that, amongst other things, is this, which is fine leaf foliage from Woodland Scenics. And this particular colour is medium green. You can get all different colour greens, probably about 4 or 5 different ones, and you literally just take a clump of it like that and you break it up to an appropriate size and pop it in position with a bit of glue again. So let's get the glue out and the paintbrush. Now this is really going to be stuck onto the side of the fence. Like so. And it really is just a let's say our dog barking again. And it really is just a case of popping this stuff on where you think it will fit nicely. Now I'm not putting too much glue on this, because what will happen is that when I put the hairspray on, the hairspray will lock that into position. It's not going to move anywhere. I'm not going to be moving any of this here, so when it's there, it's just going to stay there. So it hasn't got to be glued down with copious amounts of glue. The hairspray will do that for me. And I think we're done. So all we need to do now is add some colour. So flowers, basically. So I will stop there. I should get all the flowers I need out and come back to you. Right, we're getting towards the finishing line now as regards this particular garden. So we're just going to be adding a little bit of colour now, using flowers as the colour. And I've got left over from my previous layout several kinds of flowers, which I've got here and here And there's another wad of flowers around here somewhere. Can't find them. They're here somewhere. We're done with them. Oh yeah, here they are. So I've got those, which is a whole mixture of different colour mixed in with like a fibre. So I can straddle that, cut those off and straddle those amongst the shrubbery. So there's a fairly good selection, so really it's just a case of up to me to deciding what goes where and how much I need to put in. So let's start off with, say, this one, and we can have that one. So this is yellow. Let's pop that there. That sits very nicely. And I think that's really all I'm going to put on for that part. But what I will do is I empty this box out. I've got a lot of, might not seem a lot, but there is. It's just coloured little tiny dots, which I'm going to pick up with my fingers and just sprinkle those just lightly over the top, just to represent some flowers popping up within the shrubs. And by the time I've put hairspray on that, again, I keep saying it, it will lock it all into position. But you do have to put the hairspray on very, very carefully. And there is just one more thing I need to do before we call it a day. Let's pop that in there, get that out of the way. With my brush, just take those off the lawn. We don't want really those on the lawn. I mean, it's not one of those jobs you can do in 5 minutes, but it doesn't take that long, to be honest. So I think that's it as regards to foliage. I'm happy with that. What I need to do now is put this on, which is a washing line. Onto there. So I need to drill a couple of holes. So I will get my bits and pieces ready and come back. Okay, so see you in a minute. Okay, final stage. So we're now going to put the washing line out with a couple of people. So here is the washing line. This is a knock product. So let's get that about there. That will give me an alignment for the 2 holes, hopefully. Just see if that fits first before I put any glue on it. Yep, perfect. Right, we just need a little bit of jollop. Assuming I can find the hole that is, I've just drilled. Found one. There we go. Right, that's the washing line. Then we need the lady who hangs the washing out. And she also has a little helper who's standing on a stall. There we go. And I think that is enough for now. So I'll just put my tools away. Get some hairspray and very gently from a distance Right, so I will take the camera off the tripod and I can show you what it looks like from this angle. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute. Hello again. Right, so that's really the finished garden. So that's probably taken me about 2 hours including the filming. So not too long at all. And obviously I've got the rest to do now, but that's the finished garden for this one. But primarily it was just to show you how I build up the foliage on this particular layout. And as I keep saying, this is not a how-to. I don't do how-tos, it's how I do it. So I leave it entirely up to you to watch other videos and get tips and hints from other people on how they do it, but really this is just how I do it. Okay, so hopefully, see if I can zoom in a bit. So the shed's got its hard standing, he's got access to the door, and if I can get round the back, if I can show it, Oh yeah, there you go. So that's the rear of the house, pathway coming up to the clothesline and the shed, and obviously the cycleway at the back. So I suppose really, I'm not sure that it's on. Yeah. Let's make sure they're in their right position. We'll get them to go past the garden. That makes a really nice scene, I think. So I'm happy with that, and if I can do the same with this garden, but obviously in a different style, then that'll be those two gardens done. Just those two left to do. Okay, so hopefully that was of help to you, yeah, please go ahead and try it. If not, then please do look at other people's way of doing their gardens, or foliage, or greenery, whatever you want to call it, and but at least that's giving you the way I do it. Okay, so bye for now, and hope you've enjoyed it. Bye.